My name is Ergem Şenyuva Tohumcu. I'm the founder of Yeşilist, Turkey's green guide and sustainable living portal and platform. I'm inspired and committed to making change and teach people and raise awareness on climate change, environmental destruction, environmental degradation, give people tools to use so that they can attain a more sustainable and healthy lifestyles. And while raising this awareness, I'd like them to not only learn about them, but also turn these knowledge and information into action. So with that, I founded Yeşilist in 2010. However, it has not been an easy journey. I consider myself a very lucky person because I had a calling. I was very passionate about what I've been doing now from a very early age on. But it took me a long time to get here. And I'd like to tell you a little bit about that story now. When I was a little kid, I used to do recycling. So back in the 80s, obviously, there's no recycling in Istanbul. I used to collect practically garbage in my room and segregate them into piles for plastics and glass and newspapers. And my mother used to go nuts because of the smell. And my father, bless his soul, he used to take me to recycling centers and just help me recycle. And then came high school. I was always very interested in these subject matters. And I told my mother, I want to study environmental engineering. And my mother said, what? Who would study environmental engineering? And she said, you know, you're a girl, you have to study business administration. That is the in thing in the 80s and early 90s. And what are you going to do with environmental engineering? And I said, you know, I'm sure there are things you can work at the municipality, wastewater management. This is what all you're going to do, which I thought is a brilliant thing to do, by the way. But apparently my mother thought otherwise, and they practically brought everyone they knew who was in environmental engineering at the time, who was doing in this line of work, and they told me, like, you know, the obstacles to doing their jobs, how it's such an impossible thing. So pretty much they really made it look so not glamorous that I said, okay, you know what, obviously they know something I don't know. And I said, okay, I'll go and pursue something else. And eventually I pursued a degree in international affairs with a concentration in environmental affairs. But I lost my purpose along the way, and I was still interested in the environment, and I wanted to do something, but I think bit by bit I forgot about that. And this is early 90s, and finance looked very glamorous. I was living in the US, and I said, okay, why don't I dive into the financial service industry? I was very happy. I was working at a firm that I wanted to work at. For the next 8 years, I worked in finance, but I don't think I was necessarily happy. In 2006, my husband and I, by then I was married, after some 11 years in the US, we took a leap of faith. We bid farewell to our jobs, we transitioned, and we moved back to Istanbul. Right after moving, I got pregnant. And so I said, okay, you know, this is not an obstacle in my life, but the doctor prescribed a 6-month bed rest with only 1 hour of ability to get up from bed. If you see me, I'm a highly energetic person. To me, this was complete hell. This was like being put in jail. So I had nothing to do. I didn't have a job. I was doing some projects for my previous job, but that was all. I was bedridden. There was nothing to do. All my friends were working. I'm not a big TV person, so I don't watch TV. So what did I do? I did read lots of books. I searched the internet, and so that's where I was. So as a mother-to-be, what would I research? Child rearing. And as I was reading, I realized that there's so many chemicals in children's toys, in children's clothes, and there's so many non-hereditary cancer cases because of the environmental destruction, because of all the chemicals that we are putting not only in the atmosphere but also in our bodies, in our food. The food is very processed. There's so much obesity all over the world, and that was also the case in Turkey. All over the world, that was the same case. And so at that point, I really took an inventory of what I wanted to do, because soon my daughter was to be born. And I said, okay, so what do I want to do? And I said, okay, I'm very passionate about this. I have to do something. I cannot just let this subject matter just, rest and do nothing. I think when you want something so much, you call people, and as fate turns out, I had beautiful people in my life who led me through this, who were people who were interested and passionate about sustainability. And soon I became a climate leader with Al Gore's Climate Reality Project. And I raised awareness on climate change, gave speeches all over Turkey about what climate change would do to you and how you can be part of the solution as an individual. One thing that struck me was, of course, I was trained by Mr. Gore himself, and my training was mostly about what Mr. Gore told us. So it was all, information from the US or from Europe, but there was not much from Turkey. And people used to tell me, but you know what, you're telling all these beautiful things, but this is all from the US. And I said, wait a minute, we have the same things in Turkey. We are just not aware. And so that's the whole it started. And I said, okay, we have to do something about this. And so I said, okay, maybe we can do something about it. Tell people about how they can be part of the solution. Give them this knowledge. And apparently Turkey is a big organic, certified organic producer, but most of it is exported outside because due to local demand is very low. And awareness is very low. So I said, if I can raise this awareness, maybe I can also create the marketplace, because the market was not ready for anything else. So I did a very big transition, and I launched Yeşilis, which started as just a directory. You would be able to find out what you can find, within your neighborhood for a organic or a sustainable product. Be able to rate it, recommend it to your friends. I wanted to take that alienation from individuals and also producers, because I was doing lots of things in my own realm, and people were telling me, you think you can save the world just by, changing your behavior? And I realized there were so many other people like myself. I wasn't the only one. So this website became from a directory. It turned into a portal. Today we have more than 2,000 articles and 30 writers in there. We have lots of information in there, and it just evolved over time through a platform. However, none of this was easy for me, because I was in corporate America, and I said, okay, I'm bidding farewell to all this, and I'm going to do something that I'm going to own by myself. First of all, being an entrepreneur turns out to be one of the hardest things you can do, because you no longer have the backing or that corporate name behind you, so you're on your own. You have to pursue people and tell your own story. And your own story has to be compelling and have to have people believe in you. My background, as you see, was heavily in finance. I mastered in finance. I mastered in management and technology. But I had no information about sustainability. So if I venture into this world that I didn't know, I had to do lots of research. I researched a lot. I learned a lot. I went through 2 years of trainings full time. I built a network that I was a part of that network. My background, the people that I knew were from the world of finance. They had nothing to do with sustainability. And this was very hard for me. But it gradually happened. I left a perfectly comfortable career in finance, and of course, that was also a different one. It was very hard for me. I took a leap of faith. I became an entrepreneur, and being an entrepreneur is very tough, especially if you're doing something that is not very common, walking off the beaten path. It was very hard for me because there were lots of things that people didn't know, and I had to also talk about what is happening, and there were lots of falls, and the ups were really up, but I had to kick myself a lot of times to keep going. But it happened. So after 3 years, I managed to turn my passion into purpose. I gave lots of seminars, most of them pro bono, but I managed to do what I wanted to do. Teach a lot of people, raise awareness. I worked in this and gave lots of speeches all over Turkey and in Europe. I worked with the youth organizations. I worked with women's organizations. I worked with universities, corporations, pretty much everyone that I could reach out at the time. And I think of, I also became an accidental activist, I think, because at the end of 2012, I did a major campaign against, which is one of Turkey's biggest urban project developers. And he was building, this 320,000 square meter project right next to Istanbul's, Belgrade forest, a forest that is very meaningful to me. And the project was going to have an exclusive rights for a portion of the forest. And, from Yeşilist, we petitioned, against this project. And within 2 weeks, we had some 48,000 people signing. And that ignited a dialogue between, real estate, agencies, the developers, city planners, urban planners, Ministry of Environment, media, and that ignited a change. And finally, that change led to the rights of the project, to be, canceled for their exclusive rights. So to me, this was a very big thing to happen, and I was very happy. But also, for the very first time, I think, in Islam, we always think that, we cannot make a change. But as individuals, for the very first time, for Istanbul, we made a change towards, towards a goal. And it was very meaningful. So, it has been a wonderful journey for me, a journey that I started in 2010 and it's still going on. It's getting stronger over time. Today we have some 150,000 followers. We have ambassadors all over Turkey who are actually our spokespeople about environmental change, about climate change, about what you can do, how we can all be part of the solution. It has not been an easy time for me, but I think for all of us, it's very important to take some time off and really think through, because I think we are living such high-paced lives that things are following, and sometimes we are just looking at the tree but not seeing the forest. So with that, this is a wonderful quote that I love, that happiness is an inside job, and I really think it is. It is very important, I think, to take a step back, to think through, to really think about what you're passionate about. You don't necessarily have to take the road I've taken, but I think this can be a way to think about it, and maybe going forward you can take side roads, and it doesn't have to be very dramatic or very a big change. But I think eventually it is very important to find your own passion, because when you do something that you love, it is very meaningful. And you just wake up very happy every morning to what you're doing. Thank you very much.